So will your raise keep up with inflation? My goodness, we're always hearing about inflation. Where is it? Is it up? Is it down? Is it going away? All the things. So let's talk about a very sensitive topic. And this is, oh gosh, I can feel the pent-up frustration ready to release at me. Please have an open mind and let me walk you through this. Your raise probably is not going to keep up with inflation all the time. Sometimes it will. But frankly, we should never be attaching raises to inflation. Now, this is going to ruffle some feathers because you're already feeling like this is so unfair. And I've seen a lot of commentary online that gets people fired up about the injustice of my raise not being compared to inflation. If I don't get a raise to keep up with inflation, I can't live. Let's watch a very popular YouTuber and his take on the issue.
And if you're not getting a raise every year, you are literally losing money due to inflation. U.S. inflation is about 2% on average. The last month in January of 2019, it was 2.3%. The average salary raises that people get in the United States is about 3.1%. So your total raise is really 1.1%. Now, there are some industries that offer a higher raise than others. So in software, I've seen anywhere between 7 to 10% raises, but that's still nothing compared to what you could get by just switching companies. Working and climbing up a corporate ladder is not the way to make more money unless you really intend on somehow making it to CEO or CFO or CTO or whatever it is that you're trying to do. You don't make big gains in money by climbing the ladder. You do that by just switching companies.
Okay, see, this is the kind of advice that is partly correct, but it really steers people the wrong direction. Now, Fluke is right that you can get a big bump when you change jobs. We saw that certainly during the Great Resignation. But you can't do this all the time. Let's just say you keep hopping, you move up. At some point, you decide, for the sake of discussion, because I can't tell you what the amount is, but if it's 3 job hops in a year or 2 years, when you keep applying for something else, at some point, a company's going to look at you and go, wait a second, we've got a pattern here. And they may not be in a position to where they want to hire somebody that they're worried about leaving in 6 months to a year. So you eventually run out of places to hop. He says something that's completely incorrect, that you can't get substantial raises by getting promoted. God bless him. I don't want to use ageism here, but he's not old enough to even understand the concept. I'm not sure that Josh even shaves. And I'm having a little fun here, but he just doesn't have the life experience. He's talking to a bunch of young people, and he's giving them bad information. You can get a raise. So let's talk about a better long-term strategy. Job hopping is going to eventually limit you because you look like a flake who's looking for the next hot ticket. You look like a player. You remember that phrase? You know, oh, this guy's always dating. People don't want to marry players. They eventually go, nope, he's a player, and you're going to end up limiting your potential. So why don't you invest in your best resource? You. Invest in yourself. In fact, work harder on you than you do your job. And I promise you, Mr. Fluke, and those who follow him, you'll be fine. You'll make plenty of money. So what am I talking about? Instead of hyperbole, and just throwing out emotional candy like Fluke has done in this segment, and people do all the time on social media, just designed to let you join their club of griping and complaining. How about we focus on some practical strategies to grow yourself? There are 5 qualities that all of us have. And here's what's great. If you are a 0 in any of these qualities, with hard work and intentionality, you can become a 10. What are these qualities? Number 1, likability. How likable are you? Do people want to be around you? Do they even know that you exist? Likability. The more you like others, the more likable you become. This is just called being a decent, enjoyable human being. Be interested in others, and all of a sudden you become interesting. You can actually grow your likability factor. Number 2, coachability. How do you receive instruction? How do you receive correction? If you want to win in life, you want to grow, you're going to have to be coached in the form of instruction. Here's how we do it here. And you're going to have to be corrected. A good coach and a very good player have a symbiotic relationship because both know that they're good for each other. If I do a good job coaching the player helps us win, and I win as the coach. The player says, if I'm open to my coach is looking at how I'm doing it and pointing out where I can do it better. He's not trying to dishonor me. He's not trying to humiliate me. He's trying to help me. The third quality, reliability. Can people trust you? Is your word good? Do you do what you say you're going to do? Do you do what people ask you to do and you agree to do? Are you trustworthy? The fourth quality, adaptability. How do you handle change? Do you freak out, gripe, come up with all the reasons why we shouldn't do change just simply because you're uncomfortable, you're scared? Develop a muscle for adapting to change. It makes you highly attractive because the nature of business, the nature of our ever-changing world with technology and the interconnectedness of this global economy means that people are going to have to deal with change. Do you accept change or do you reject it? Finally, honorability. Are you honorable? Do you treat people with dignity? Do you act with integrity? Honorable. People can look at you and say, there's an honest person with high character. Likable, coachable, reliable, adaptable, honorable. Hey, you work on those qualities, guess what happens? You separate yourself from everybody else. And all of a sudden, you become extremely promotable. People go, that's a rock star. So if you focus on being promotable, you're not going to have to constantly be looking for the next train to jump on to try to get incremental increase in income. The real assets that you have to grow your income is not the ability to read a job board and win an interview. It is being likable, coachable, reliable, adaptable, and honorable. This will give you freedom. Freedom of choice because you'll be a very attractive candidate. You won't have to hop. You'll just keep on climbing. Trust me, it works.